So that was fucking dope.
Yeah, man, that was amazing. Sean Price from Erra joining us, guitarist, former bassist.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. And avid gamer. I think that was the biggest thing.
I feel like we could have sat here and talked to him for 8 hours.
Yeah. Pretty much just one of the it just sounds like our best friends that we grew up with.
Exactly.
Same music scene, same video game tendencies, and same lifestyle and everything. Dude, it was a blast. And just super excited that they're in the process of writing new music or in the process of getting stuff started.
And just to hear him, just like talking to any other musician, like being true to the craft and being true to themselves, like cannot wait for the new work. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So not to take too much away from it, we give you guys Sean Price of Erra.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Not a whole lot, man. Super excited that you were kind enough to do this with us.
Oh, dude. Feels good to be here on the internet.
So glad you're joining us on the internet. So what's happening, man? How's good old Beham? Is what color's the Vulcan right now? Can you see him?
I can't see him from here, but I'm sure he's still mooning us with his big green butt.
So you're originally from Birmingham?
Yeah, I grew up here 24 years in Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah.
That's one of the places I've got on my schedule of places to go to. I've heard that they've done a lot of development around the Battery and the minor league team over there, and that's a pretty cool
yeah.
spot.
I mean, Birmingham's growing at a very insane rate, and we have like one of the best spots for food and coffee, which is the only thing I care about in life. So
yeah. Man after my own heart.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah, that's all what I'm all about.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually grew up for a little over 4 years in Alabama. I was in
crazy.
Yeah, I was down at Enterprise. Good old Enterprise, Alabama.
Oh.
Oh, that is the appropriate response.
Yeah. Your reaction says it all.
That's rough.
Yeah, dude. It's all it is a town you don't even you don't even pass through it going down to Panama City.
Pretty funny, but my only interaction with Enterprise whatsoever, I played guitar for the show choir band in high school.
What?
What?
You guys went down there?
You noticed the silence. Just wait. Did I?
I think I heard you guys jaw drop.
Just 10 seconds of. Did we hear that right?
So I played guitar for the show choir band in high school, and our competitions would run through Enterprise. So yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah. I haven't been back there since 1999, whenever I left. So no looking back.
Yeah.
No,
definitely don't blame.
Yeah, it's definitely no point in going back. Same with Dothan. Same exact. Dude, Southeast Alabama is just fantastic.
I had a roommate who lived with me for a number of years who was from Dothan, and his family was from Dothan. He just never really had anything good to say about it.
Yeah,
So
what I like to say about Dothan, Alabama is it's the town you drive through, and it's impossible to tell whether it's a high school or a prison, or if it even matters if you're making that distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go
with a big white nondescript building that all the kids go to at some point in their life. So, congratulations, by the way. That video that you guys put out for Skyline's fucking awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was going to address that and be like, hey, have you guys checked that video out? But if you guys have, I'm not
dude, I will say, so you already revealed your age. You say you're 24. Yeah, so Kevin and I are, he's 28, I'm 29. I turned 30 this year, and I've realized over the past couple of years I get motion sick really easily. And some of the visuals in that video got my stomach going a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, so like that tunnel it's the LED tunnel from Birmingham or whatever.
Oh, cool. I was going to ask where everything was shot at and all that. That makes perfect sense.
Well, okay, so it's a little confusing, but there's skyline footage of Atlanta.
Oh, okay, that's what I was going to say. It looked very familiar. Yep.
Yeah, so some of that's from Atlanta because our video guy, Aaron Marsh, is from Atlanta, and we've pretty much used him for everything for a number of years. And I'll just go ahead and say it. We're pretty bad about like planning video content ahead, and we get every time it comes down to crunch time, we're like, we don't know what to do. And the performance footage ended up being like a last ditch effort to get something that like kind of like rotating color wheel performance footage, whatever. And I was looking at the raw camera footage of it, and I was like, we could use the Birmingham tunnel. It has all these colors, and it ended up being like a huge kaleidoscope version of what a lot of that video was.
Yeah,
so.
that's super cool. Yeah, I think you even at one point I think I see Jesse take his hand off the guitar and go put his hair behind his ear while he's playing.
Yeah, who knows?
How long did that take?
I think he does that stuff live too.
Yeah,
so it's not like it's gonna be
it just puts you in a predicament, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you know.
So you can be honest here. This is a safe space.
The simple chord stuff while he's singing, while I have to.
Yeah, no. So that's definitely something I want to talk about later. How long did that video shoot take you guys? I'm always interested about that stuff because you can tell. I mean, the production value on it's pretty amazing.
Okay, what's funny is that video was shot almost a year ago.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Drift came out over a year ago at this point, right?
Yeah. So we're sitting on the this video is is the last of the Drift album cycle because we're planning on putting something out later.
Wait! Breaking news.
We saw a Facebook post that.
I mean, if anyone asks, we just say we're writing, and
that's what we saw on Facebook that we were also going to ask about. Yeah.
So like, it's not news, but the Drift album cycle is coming to a close.
And but that album's so good. So to that point, so you guys are writing. So again, you guys said it's fair to say you guys are writing stuff. We're not going to put any definite terms on it as far as when it'll be released or what it is in any capacity.
There aren't even definite terms on the music itself. So we're not in any position. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that was going to be my next question. Is so I mean, as a band and from your perspective, your earlier albums are a little bit harder than Drift was.
Oh, for sure.
So
anyone can acknowledge that.
Right. So where do you see from your perspective, and maybe again, I'm just going to phrase this as far as perspective because, like you said, you don't really know where the album's going musically right now, and it's still very early on in the conceptual stages. But as far as Erra's concerned, I mean, do you see yourself continuing along the sound approach that Drift took or some of that earlier work? I mean, what are your thoughts on where you guys are musically right now?
I can say this in full confidence that early Erra, I mean, like half the members are different. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
You being one of them.
You being one of them, exactly.
Change in the sonic value that Erra brings. You know what I mean? But also, like, we're getting older. You know what I mean? And, like, I for one, as someone who gets older, as we all do,
older at 24. This fucking guy. This fucking guy older at 24. Get out of here.
I'm saying like in a very broad general term.
No, I get it, man.
No one wants to hear a band put out the same album over and over again.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But you also don't.
As much as a lot of people and internet trolls claim that they want.
No, you don't. But at the same time, you don't want a band to become something that they're uncomfortable with and put something out that sounds uncomfortable and that isn't true to themselves stylistically.
I can totally agree. And there's definitely a couple of bands who have done that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But with that said, like every time I pick up a guitar, it's gonna sound like Erra. That's because I'm in that band. You know what I mean? Right. I can't stray. I can only stray as far as I try to, and I'm not going to try to stray from what made me the guitarist I am today.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. Obviously, you guys are successful, and there's a reason for that. I mean, that sound is. You guys do have a unique sound to me.
Absolutely.
I mean, you guys.
Successful is a very loose term.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. I mean, talk to any musician, especially in the scene or the surrounding scenes. A lot of you guys have side jobs that you guys do off of tour, and it's just it's crazy. It sucks in a way, but it's awesome to see a lot of you guys just doing what it takes to pursue your dream.
Yeah, well, I guess I could say it sucks in a way, but like I have been fortunate to come home and do nothing, but it drives me crazy. Like I'm like I gotta get out of the house. I gotta find some job to do or something.
Well, I think that all goes back into the creative process as a result of that, is that those life experiences and those things that you're doing outside of touring or writing music or doing anything creatively for that matter, it's this sort of struggling artist mantra, you know what I mean? Like all of that goes back into the work in one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting lifestyle because for one, it's even hard to find a job that'll allow you to leave for a month at a time.
No kidding, yeah.
But I'm always going to put that first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have to break that to whoever is unfortunate enough to give me a job interview. You know what I mean? Like just letting you know, I'm going to be gone about 5 months out of the year. Sorry, ahead of the time. But
so Kevin wanted
actually,
to
I
go
hold
ahead.
2 jobs right now, so I'm
what are you doing when you're not on tour right now?
So
Male gigolo?
Oh,
that's it. You got me.
damn, dude. What's your song?
My song? Oh, it's whatever the DJ feels like.
Oh no, everybody's got a song.
My
Don't
stage
cop
name,
out.
My stage name is Girth Brooks.
Oh, my worth is my girth, playboy.
Girth Brooks.
That's a man truly after my own heart. If you know how far back me and Garth go, you don't even know.
So my 2 jobs are, one, I drive a donut truck and
Oh
sell
my
donuts
God.
at public events. Yeah, and then I'm a barista at a local coffee shop because there's probably nothing else in life that I'm more passionate about than coffee.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Kevin jumped ahead. I want to get back to the video for Skyline. You said that you guys shot it over a year ago. I noticed that it's been unlisted on your guys, or at least on the Sumerian YouTube channel. It's been unlisted for about 2-3 weeks. How long did the recording process take? And what kind of reception have you guys seen so far?
For the video?
Yeah, for Skyline, yeah.
The video is taking off. I haven't seen any negative comments or anything.
All right, hold on, let me find
it. I don't think it's on YouTube yet. Oh, it is. No, I could totally just pull up YouTube and probably cry myself to sleep
Shit
after
posting.
reading.
Yeah. Dude, whatever. Just go to the metalcore subreddit, and everybody loves you guys on there. It's are you guys one of the blacklisted?
Yeah.
Are you guys one of the blacklisted bands on there that people aren't allowed to talk about because they talk about you too much?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Dude, yeah, like ADTR and I want to say Architects. Like people aren't supposed to post. There's certain bands that people aren't supposed to post so much about because of how big they are. I just see a ton of honestly, like completely. I don't like get involved in Reddit too much, but I get on there occasionally. There's a lot of there are a lot of Erra fans on there that use it as like their avatar, whatever that is, their pin.
Yeah.
So
their flare.
Yeah, their flare.
That's
That's
awesome.
what it's called. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are definitely loved in that community.
Bans people from talking about us because where am I supposed to go when I want a big head about things?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean
it's been so the day when we shot the video, JT wasn't living in Birmingham yet. He's since moved here.
Okay.
So that he could be closer to the band and do everything that he needed, and it would be easier for him to like leave for tours and stuff. I mean, we fly a handful of people out every time we leave because our pretty much full-time sound guy is from Texas. The bass player that we've been working with for the last 3 tours is from Pennsylvania, and our newest merch guy is from Missouri. So we just have like a whole crew we fly in, and but that was back when. So like, if we're shooting a video, we had to do it the day we got back from a tour.
Oh wow.
So
yeah,
like
since you guys would be all in the same
home,
place at that point, yeah.
Yeah, I was still dating this chick at the time, and like the last thing I want to do is drive to Atlanta the day I get home from tour, and like.
Well, next time you do that, you better give us a shout.
Yeah, dude, we gotta.
we have a couple. You guys were
I know. That's what I say. I noticed the Atlanta skyline. Yeah, we're out of Atlanta. We're recording in my house as we speak.
Yeah, we got a recording studio.
I like Atlanta. I mean, me being Birmingham, we're like, we're
exactly
the neighbors, and I, as a kid growing up, went to the Masquerade for all my shows.
So were you aware of the switch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, just being a touring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. So have you been to the new location? Have you
I
guys
haven't-
toured since?
We haven't
No.
played Atlanta.
No,
Okay,
dude.
cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I don't know. You probably don't remember this. I was gonna ask you about your Instagram live videos because I remember interacting with you at one point and saying that I fucking missed you guys 3 times in Atlanta last year.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's impressive because I feel like we over toured last year.
I missed you guys in Atlanta, and then I was planning on going and seeing the August Burns Red tour up in Asheville, but that was on a weeknight. I work a 9 to 5, so that's pretty brutal. What is that, like a 3-hour drive up there and then to get back? But yeah, man, what you say you haven't been to the new Masquerade? It's pretty nice though. I don't know what a lot of people are a little upset about the fact that it's not run down and ragged and whatnot. It's pretty new on the inside, but
I mean, if someone's upset about that, they're just crying.
Opposing, yeah.
Because I mean, it was going to happen one day. There's going to be a show where everyone who went to a show in heaven was going to end up in hell after.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt, dude. I mean, you saw it happen at
Yeah.
the Tabernacle with fucking Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the fucking
I
disco.
think it was about time for an upgrade there.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
miss the culture, and obviously, I had a lot of memories because, like I said, growing up, I went to every big influential concert at the Masquerade.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, you're probably
as
part
far
of
as touring musician goes, they kept the same staff, and those are the best people on the planet to play a show. Like, they take great care of you. The catering at the Masquerade is always really sick, and the dude just cooks for you. And
Yeah, it must be great for a touring musician to have that kind of quality service because as a visitor to the Masquerade at the old location, you order food and it takes about an hour for them to get it to you.
yeah, I could probably see that.
just chicken fingers take an entire hour to go to the fryer.
It's like, I
Yeah.
just need something to soak this alcohol up. Come on.
So you drove. So what part of Birmingham are you in? Are you in the city?
I used to be like literally 2 minutes outside of the city, like downtown 5 Points, Birmingham. And then some family stuff happened. I guess it hasn't been a year, but it's been like 10 months ago. I moved like 30 minutes out of the city because my housing situation got difficult.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
So yeah, I live like 30 minutes, but I like the coffee shop I work at is like right down the street from my other house, and I'm there like every day. So
Oh, nice.
it hasn't stopped me. Yeah.
So, I mean, growing up, going to the Masquerade, what are some of your most memorable shows there? Because I imagine, I mean, you probably saw a lot of the same bands that we did. I mean, Kevin and I were going. I can't remember if New Brooklyn Tavern still exists in Columbia. I don't know
Like
if you
right
guys have-
now?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know if where do you guys play if you guys play in Columbia or in South Carolina?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like I can't even remember the last time we played South Carolina. We're
Probably just
always in
Ground Zero at this point in
Yeah,
Spartanburg, and then the
probably.
Music Farm.
place sounds familiar.
Or
Yeah.
down in Charleston, maybe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, we grew up.
Okay, yeah, I think I've played Charleston before.
Yeah, that's probably the
But what's
Music
funny
Farm.
is like I don't think I've been to South Carolina since like one of our like up and coming like B market tours. Like it's been a long time. I don't think I've been to South Carolina in a while.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of bands go through there. I mean, you do see them, or we saw them a lot in high school. We would go because we grew up mostly in South Carolina, so we were in Columbia every other weekend in high school, and then in college going and seeing shows. I mean, I imagine it was a lot of the same bands. I don't know. I guess I don't know what you were into back then.
So I remember seeing Thrice right when the Alchemy Index came out, and that was like life changing to me.
Yeah, we just saw them 2 years ago, and they're like,
It was last year.
was it last year?
Yeah, it was
whenever
last
they did
year,
their,
whenever,
like, reunion tour or
yeah.
whatever.
Right when they put that newest album out. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Crazy.
Yeah, I still love that band.
Yeah, they're one of my top 10 favorite bands
That's-
ever.
that's
They're
another
amazing. You talk about a band that changed their sound but were true to themselves throughout every
Absolutely.
single album. That's
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, obviously, if I'm influenced by a band like that, and like, I try to bring this up because it's a very exaggerated version, but like, Bring Me the Horizon, that band has gone through such sonic changes and drastic, like, because they used to just be downright thrash metal almost. You know what I mean?
it was almost like mathy at certain points too,
And-
right? I mean, it's
You know, this might be an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but I could not stand them back then. Oh my gosh, I couldn't listen to it. And I used to listen to some pretty ignorant metal when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no.
But their newest album is so sick to me. It's so good, and I think it's like I think they as a band has grown up alongside their fans, because I don't think like pretty much any of their fans back then would have cared to listen to that kind of music now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they just did it so right.
So
and
that's
it's so hard. It's so hard for a band to look at that and then see that level of success that they bring to the table and not want to follow it. You know what I mean?
right. Absolutely. And so that's the other thing. I mean, you mentioned it before about like getting older. We've had that exact same conversation on the show, is like, what would younger self think of current self and music taste, like going to hardcore shows every week and now being like, I'm a little bit more into post-hardcore and stuff, a little bit softer. And like,
Yeah.
I kind of like seeing that evolution sonically with bands that have been around for a couple of years to express that. Like, I think there's a little bit, I still love the raw emotion that comes out in hardcore music. And I think instrumentally, the elements that come together in hardcore music overlaid with softcore vocals is still really, really powerful. And to see that merge and the dichotomy of those two elements, whether instrumentally or vocally, in a band like Erra is really, really compelling audibly to me. You know what I mean? Especially where I am right now in my life. Like in an odd way, I don't think that I had the maturity almost to handle those
switches,
those opposing elements. And also there just weren't very many bands doing that. Like Under Oath was one that was, and it's really cool to see them coming back through. I mean, a lot of these bands are doing that now, where they're coming back through on 10-year tours and stuff like that. But there weren't a ton of bands really experimenting with that and doing that in a way that I think bands that have been around for a while are now. And it's it's a really, really cool time for music, for guys that are, and people that are in their mid to late 20s that grew up in that hardcore scene, to be getting to that point in their life where they kind of want the substance of hardcore music, but through the tone of softcore vocals with that opposition of hardcore vocals alongside it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, as far as that aspect of our music goes, it's so mathematical. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, since the dawn of pop music, there's a very easy formula to follow about a good chorus that's going to make your band better. And we've just always tried to do that. We're like, well, we're going to have this song, no matter how technical the riff is, no matter how insane this breakdown is, we're going to have a catchy chorus. That's all we've ever tried to do. And it's worked out for us. You know what I mean? It's just like it's worked out for any, like, it's just,
well, it's also a push and pull. And I think that's what hardcore music brings that pop music doesn't, is that you're constantly pushing that line of breakdown. And so while you have that catchy chorus or whatever, or that catchy riff, that mathematically and systematically earwigs itself into your brain, you're still playing with this line sonically, where you're pushing emotion and you're pushing that line emotionally based on that breakdown and where and when that happens or doesn't happen.
I think a lot of that comes with the fact that we're, as musicians, we're all very hard on ourselves. And
I think creatives are just like that. I think that's just the creative mentality.
But at the same time, we're like going to be the first people to tell anybody when something's cheesy.
Exactly.
And so much music with like breakdowns and singing is so hard to listen. Just it's so cheesy.
It is, you know and it's predictable and it's formulaic, and so that's the thing, is like,
not going to ever allow that to happen,
right?
Which I think is
so it's like you take that formula, like you're saying, where you're right. It's mathematical in a sense, but it's your job as a creative individual to hide the formula behind it's like you have to hide the man behind the curtain, essentially, and to disguise what's happening behind the scenes, so that emotion is driven subconsciously rather than in the formulaic pop punk sort of like super overproduced manner that music tends to be currently. And so I think both of those things still use the same formula. It's how they hide that or enhance it based on the blending of the instrumentals and vocals as a result of that. So,
I mean, there are plenty of bands that do it great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm really into. I mean, I'll give a shameless shout out to my boys because the Contortionist new song.
Dude, it's amazing.
Oh, it's so good. And I knew I was gonna see it as soon as I heard it. I knew there was gonna be kids crying about how it wasn't like metal or prog enough.
Well, that's always going to be the case. It's never blank enough. That's just the fucking time that we live in. It's never something enough. It's, oh, this isn't the band that put out the last album, or, oh, this is too much of a different band. It's never something enough.
Yeah, I've had to come to peace with that. Believe me, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, all right, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, that new Contortionist song, I did my first tour with those guys when we were on that Tesseract tour. I was never really into the Contortionist, which is kind of funny to say. But I watched, so I saw them live for the first time on that tour, and I was like, oh my God, these guys are amazing. Like, how have I been sleeping on these guys this long? And then I found out that their vocalist was newer as that tour came around. And he was phenomenal live. Like, the dude, he would just sound check, and I would stop whatever I was doing.
Dude, his like robotic mannerisms that he does throughout that show, they add so much to it.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I started, because they're really good, nice guys too. So I started talking to them like every day, and I started giving their latest album a listen. I was like, man, this is amazing. But I could kind of tell that that album was a transition between like what they used to be and where I could tell they kind of wanted to go.
Yeah, no,
And
you can totally see that.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this dude's voice is not shining like it, Mike Lassard. The dude's an amazing singer, and it wasn't shining on that album like I knew it could be. And then they released the single, I was like, there it is. I was like, this is so fucking good.
Yeah,
and I'm very excited to hear what the new stuff is going to sound like, because they definitely crawled their way to like one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, Clairvoyant, right? It comes out, I think, in October. Is that right?
Yeah, could not be soon enough.
Yeah, it was, dude. Same thing for me though. Like I honestly, actually, I don't think I'd ever heard of them, and then I went. I'm a big DGD fan, so I went and saw them last year, and they brought Contortionists on tour with them, and I was like, this is. So I gave them a shot, or I gave them a listen to. It's like, this is really weird. Like, I wouldn't expect them to be playing in between Hail the Sun and DGD. And, yeah, dude, they came out, like, just their light show, the way that guy was performing, like, his mannerisms going along with the music, and just how, I mean, language, that album, they played the majority of that, I think, and it just from start to finish, it seemed like one seamless experience. And I think a lot of bands fail to kind of capture that, or if they try to do that, they kind of fall flat on their face live, but they did a great job of that. They put on a great show.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you guys firsthand, those dudes are amazing musicians. Like, they could easily probably, if their band blew up and fell apart today, they could probably each find their way in a studio making way more money than they ever would being in a metal band, just from how amazing they are at their instruments and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's
luckily that's
true.
not going to happen, because I'm pretty sure their next album is just going to crush.
I feel like a lot of bands in the scene right now are right on the precipice of that, where they're just one album away from just fucking crushing.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's such a crazy industry right now. It's so hard to tell what someone has to do. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's my interest. Like, that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about two things. A, your creative process. You guys, like you said, you're getting back to writing and what that entails. And B, having to toe that line, knowing that your audience ranges a 15-year span, essentially. You know, you're looking at people from 15 to 30 years old, more or less. And how do you appease those people that are in their mid to late 20s that are thinking about music and audio in a completely different way than somebody between 15 and 25 is? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's...
Or do you just say, fuck it, we're going to do something that we want to do, And if somebody likes it, they like it, because that's what I ultimately want to hear.
No, that is literally what we are doing.
That's ultimately the right answer.
And I mean, I've actually talked with Jesse recently because we've tried to write what we think an Erra fan would want to hear, and it doesn't work to us anyway. There's some songs that we kind of just, but I mean, every band is going to tell you about songs they've released that they'd rather not play. You know what I mean? That's just a tale as true as time. But if we're gonna do this, if we're gonna like sacrifice so many aspects of our life to go on the road, we're gonna write music that we love. You know what I mean? And we're gonna play music that makes us happy live, and that's just the way it's gonna be.
That's the way. Well, that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
No,
ultimately.
I totally agree. And not to mention the market is so oversaturated right now because anybody with a MacBook can record an album and put a band together.
Yeah, anybody with Skype can make a podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty true, actually.
Unfortunately, they're giving us a bad name.
Yeah, I feel that. But so, like, if you're not going to be true to yourself and you're going to try to appeal to something, then you're no different than anybody who can do anything with a MacBook. And that's my biggest thing. But to get to your point, like, to appeal to people in their mid-20s and up, we're that age, you know what I mean?
Right,
so if we're appealing to ourselves,
which
we'll be fine.
And I think that's why those the past two albums have resonated with me more as well. It's just like that comes across, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I could probably say that Drift was probably just the monumental move for us. That was like, this is the lineup. You know what I mean?
That is the fucking album for sure for me.
Yeah. I mean, minus JT, right? I mean, Moments of Clarity had some of that leap too, right? I mean, and then that was you hopping on the guitar.
Right.
Well, it's funny. That album doesn't really reflect much of my influence in any way because when they were in the studio, I went to learn old Erra on guitar.
Oh, shit.
We had a tour coming up, and I was like, I haven't played guitar in years. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. So
you were playing bass at that time, right?
What's up?
You were playing bass at that time? Is that right?
Yeah, so I was in the band for about a year and a half, maybe, playing bass, touring.
And did you record bass on Impulse or Augment? No,
bass has always been a weird thing in the studio for us. Some of it's so not a lot of it's been recorded. Our engineer actually recorded some of the bass on Drift, and like Jesse recorded some of it. So that's just like bass is kind of the last thing on our mind when we're in the album, which is sad to say.
It's weird because there's what song is that on Drift that I'm thinking of with that crazy bass solo?
Contortionist.
Hypnotist.
Continuum.
Oh yeah, continue. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So the engineer recorded that.
You motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. But I mean, like, I'm kind of curious to like know how much a band is scared to admit about their studio endeavors. You know what I mean? Like how much of it is studio magic. I'm proud to say not a lot of ours is.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have some really talented people between you and Jesse and Alex. So, and obviously JT. But I mean, as far as the instruments go,
I think also the live performance shows it because this past headliner. Well, I guess you haven't seen us in a while. Past headliner, we didn't even have guitar in our samples for the front of house.
Wow.
So, and it's kind of sad how rare that is. Nowadays.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we had some of that. We went to a show on Thursday night. There was a lot of that going on. There was a lot of backing tracks for, I mean, not bassist, and then also, I'm trying to think of who it was. I don't want to like call anybody out. I think they were just Sans bassist. They had a drummer that was playing a bass, just a bass track on his laptop next to his drum.
I mean that's so normal nowadays.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And then you have vocal backing tracks and all that stuff, and that. Obviously, it's not lip syncing, but I mean, it adds a certain artificial element that sometimes.
I'll just say this in like a published format on the podcast, just so someone can quote me. But the only thing in our tracks for our headlining tour was synth parts that obviously no instrument could pull off unless you're a keyboardist with an insane amount of patches. So like the synth parts that you would hear in any Erra album, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the 808 drops because That's
I mean,
normal.
it's digital, right? Right.
Yeah, and then there's one part in Rebirth that's like a lo-fi guitar breakdown before the breakdown, and that's all we have.
Dude, that's pretty impressive. I mean,
Well, it's because like we want to feel like a band.
yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean? And,
yeah.
and I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus who does that. You know what I mean? But like, when you were 15 years old playing in your friend's garage, and it felt so amazing and sick to pull off that raw, loud sound. It's like, that my 15-year-old self would be pissed about.
Yeah.
If I didn't play my parts live and I had it coming through a PA.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys use in-ears?
So this last tour was our first tour on in-ears.
What do you think so far? Because I know a lot of I've heard a lot of bands talk about, especially in the metal and hardcore scene, talk about how it just because of how much crowd involvement goes on, how hard it is to hear the mood of the crowd.
So I played with one ear out the whole tour.
Smart
which
man.
is terrible.
No,
it's terrible. It's terrible because like medically you're applying pressure unevenly to your eardrums and stuff.
Fuck yeah.
So it's literally terrible. Like I'm gonna go deaf.
Well, me too. Me too, but it's just from going to shows and just
dude. Then you get to become the Beethoven in the metal scene, dude.
I think that's when I just retire because I can't hear anything.
No, dude, just hold your ear up to the body of the guitar.
You just gotta balance it
feel
out. Yeah, you put the in-ear on one ear, one show, the other ear, the other show.
Play with one ear out, like I know Tosin Abasi does. I think you're supposed to switch it up.
That's what I was just saying. You got to balance it out. Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's a way to do it. But I did take the same ear out every night because when I'm looking at the crowd, I kind of lean one ear towards my cabinet more. So I took that ear out. But as far as performance wise, it's crazy to imagine not having in ears now after one tour. Like, and we like the way we did it and the way we rigged it out with our rack is we each have a mix board on our phones that we control for our own mix.
Wow,
dude, 21st century is fucking nuts.
Right?
Yeah, it's basically Nest for your performance.
To imagine not having that.
Yeah,
it's so easy.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Going to shows growing up in early 2000s. I mean, whenever you heard sound checks from guitarists, they were actually playing. I mean, they would have the monitors going. You'd hear everything whenever they would play some fucking. They'd play Papa like get the crowd going, play Papa Roach at the beginning of the fucking sound check.
Yep.
But now everybody's just checking everything in ears, and they're you don't hear any of that. All you hear now is the drummers.
Right.
It's interesting.
Well, live sonically, we still have stage sound. We kept that this tour.
Okay. Yeah. So you still have the monitors.
We had
going.
a bass cab, guitar cabs, drums. So we as far as sound checking went, we're still very raw, and that's part of the whole.
That's good.
And our sound guy actually requested that because we were going to be like, screw cabs, we don't need them. Because like those are the backbreakers when you're loading in, and it would be easier on a band not to bring them, obviously. But our sound guy, because we're not huge, you know what I mean? We're playing some pretty small club. This is a club tour, and sonically, a PA can't. Someone at the front row of a club tour probably won't hear all from the PA they need to hear, and that's where guitar cabs really help. You know what I mean? To sonically please the whole crowd.
Yeah, yeah, man.
And not to mention, like the tone I get through my guitar cab is still my favorite ever. So like I still want that in the room somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So admittedly, full disclosure, Kevin and I, neither of us are musicians. We just have a great admiration for you guys. So for any gearheads listening, what are you playing? You're an Ibanez guy, right?
So I play Ibanez guitars and Kemper Profiler amp.
Okay.
And I don't know if you. So a Kemper Profiler, in layman terms, is basically, it's like an Axe Effects, and I know you've heard that before.
Kevin's shaking his head no.
Really?
Don't fucking throw me under the bus, asshole. Crazy. You don't know what it is either, fuckface.
Yeah, I'm a poser.
It's a digital amp.
Gotcha.
Which means it's basically a computer I plug my guitar into.
Got it.
But what this Kemper does is I can plug a microphone up to a real amp, any classic amp I want, and I can literally suck its soul out.
Oh, I'm
And
sold.
what that means is basically there's a setting on this amp that I put it to profiling. I play an actual amp with a microphone mic'd up to it, and it clones its sound verbatim.
Dude, this is fucking nuts. This is blowing my mind.
Yeah, so like as far like you were saying, the 21st century, like
Yeah, no kidding.
we are in the future.
Yeah,
for sure.
that Kemper Profiler is the Shang Tsung of.
Your soul is
Yes,
mine.
dude. It really, or the Kirby from Super Smash.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
that's the far more
I
cuter.
can rent or like borrow a friend's amp and take it home with me on a flash drive.
That's
And
insane. That's
That's
absolutely
fucking-
insane.
That's fucking
And I
dope.
paid too much money for it, but not really because I love this thing and I probably would have paid it double over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll be remiss. We've made 2 gaming references here in the past 30 seconds.
Dude, where's your Twitch channel at, man? You posted last year talking whenever you're building your PC. Where's your Twitch? Where's the Twitch channel at?
I posted on it like I guess it was last week. I was playing on it.
Oh, no.
shit.
What are you playing?
So last week I streamed one of my first goes at PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
I don't think.
I haven't,
Yeah, I don't think.
I have
yeah.
no clue what that is.
Oh my God, it's probably the most fun. That's the only game where I can just get my ass handed to me and I'll have fun because I'm very, very competitive when it comes to video games.
Right on. So, what kind of game is it?
Okay, so take the physics and the shooting mechanics of Battlefield
Yep.
and the general idea of the Division as far as the Dark Zone goes.
Okay.
So you basically, it's in its alpha, and that might be why it's not.
Oh, that makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the 3rd most viewed game on Twitch already.
Really? That's interesting.
That's crazy.
So, what are you playing it on? PC? Or yeah, obviously your
Yeah,
PC.
PC.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only game I still kind of mess with on PlayStation is Destiny. And that was
Oh, dude! Holy shit! I'm so glad we got
but
it.
I will go ahead and say this on record. That game is broken right now, and I refuse to play it.
So we stopped back in December. Really,
Yeah.
we went fucking hard,
Smart
dude.
boys.
We
Yeah.
went fucking hard for 2 years and just had to finally put down the sticks and back away for a little
Dude,
while.
yeah, I think we
Well,
both had
was
over
that-
1,000 hours
Was
in our
that the
characters.
newest raid? Had you guys played the raid?
Wrath of the Machine, yeah.
I like that raid. I
Oh,
like
dude,
it.
the raid was fucking solid. Like, we all ponied up and we're like, all right, we're going to start at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. We all went out and got breakfast and coffee before, saddled up and strapped in for 13 hours straight, man. That was a
Yeah,
fucking
see,
great raid.
I got spoiled because like I said, I'm a competitive video game player, and I play mainly Crucible, the PvP
Oh,
mode.
dude, Trials. Tim and I had many moments where our friendship was tested.
Dude,
because
we've been best friends for 15 years, and
you want to talk
we
about
wouldn't talk to each other.
competitiveness.
Yeah.
I tend to go
My
over
best
the top.
friends from home would probably listen to this and be like, "Come on, man!" But I swore off playing competitive video games with my real friends. That is most certainly something I do not do anymore.
I may be guilty of going invisible and playing Trials with randoms just because
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But it's funny because that game I got kind of spoiled because the reward system for Trials was so good.
Uh-huh.
I didn't even raid until kind of recently, but I hit 400 light
Yep.
before most people.
I basically played the last month before Rise of Iron came out and farmed everything and stacked engrams and my inventory so full so that I could quickly boost rep. And then I farmed Omnigul for 2 days before the raid came out and got up close to 400 and then banked all my engrams and rep and just fucking maxed out. And everybody was so pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because the dudes who just primarily raid are the guys who get really salty.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, they do. But it's crazy though. So you're right. It's been broken in certain instances for a long time. For a long time, Crucible players were fucked when it came to the reward system. It was total bullshit.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking at the competitive level. If you guys played Crucible now, you'd be like, "What is this? What game am I playing?"
Yeah. So I got.
Is it just slide shotguns still?
So they basically took special ammo away entirely.
Real well, no. We were still playing whenever they got rid of it, and the cooldown timer was just absurd. And it was we stopped playing right before the icebreaker came back. Actually, that was the last update.
Okay, so basically, right now we're at a state of the game where they're trying to slow down the gameplay.
That goes completely contrary to what that game seems to be based off of.
Not necessarily.
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on the map.
It's slower than Call of Duty as
yes.
far as the first.
Yeah, that's
shooter.
true.
I agree with that.
And so they're trying to slow down the gameplay and make it more tactical and make it more skill based as far as primaries go. I understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But they've already put guns in the game that render that useless.
Yeah.
So what they've done right now is the game has sped up, but the only thing you can do to keep up is if you have an icebreaker or a sidearm because you spawn with it.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on my Havoc Pigeon because I would wreck shit with that fucking gun after that.
Well,
like,
if you have that gun, you're in a fine state.
I would fucking wreck shit with that. Like whenever they nerfed whenever they first nerfed special ammo, and I knew that you would start with special ammo with that. That was before because they broke the you could start with it, fill up your ammo, then switch out your secondary and your
oh yeah. I fell victim to that.
So yeah, so did I. But yeah, that Havoc Pigeon, man, I kept that thing on me at all times. That and my Mida. So I was just I was one of those dudes. But
yeah, I mean that's kind of the meta.
That's the meta. That's been the meta for a long time.
But let me. But it's funny because the ammo economy is in such a bad state. It's that the meta now is basically it's a gun game without guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so everyone's just throwing sticky grenades and supers and using
that's
melee.
And that's where I got so I mained a warlock primarily, and that's where I got with my Sunsinger was I would just do the fusion grenades and run with the
and so how are you going to make an RPG game with all these different kinds of guns and use two of them maybe in a competitive So right now, like me and most of my competitive friends are just taking a step back being like, what did you do to this game?
That's exactly where we found ourselves at. So I agree completely.
Yeah. So now I can't talk too much toxicity towards the developers because Destiny 2 is coming out in like no time.
So
and I don't know if I'm sure you guys have watched the streams. They took very, very great approach to the way the weapon system works and everything.
So I've got multiple questions now. God, I'm so glad that you're so big into Destiny. So what do you main in Destiny?
I don't. I just don't. I deleted my Titan out of rage because I refuse to play a character with easy mode on. I feel like everybody's I bounce between a warlock and a hunter.
I think most people will say that warlock is easy mode, but I take offense to that because I mained as a warlock.
No, dude, that jump is way too hard to get used to. I'm a hunter. I played a hunter for 2 years, and that was
this is all I'll say is right now a Titan has the most easiest abilities. So in an ability meta, obviously he's going to reign supreme.
Yeah, that shoulder charge got to be ridiculous by the time I ended
it's a one-hit melee.
Yeah,
it's in a meta with no shotguns
and then
or snipers.
And they got
who's going to come out on top?
They got rid of my trip mine sticks. That was the total. No, dude, that was the biggest thing of bullshit. Like I would get the Amkar's grasps. I would have 2 stickies or 2 trip mine grenades, and I would just stick the shit out of people, and then
including yourself.
Yeah, including myself.
Well, and then like Titan skating is a thing.
Oh, I know. With the chess piece. What's that chess piece?
Oh, you don't even
Twilight
have to run
Garrison.
The chess piece.
Twilight
if you
Garrison.
Just mash A quick enough in like a weird
fuck that.
physic time. A Titan will launch forward at these insane speeds.
See, so that's the thing that's broken at this point, and that's the way Halo got to be. That's the way these games tend to get. Once they get between that 2 and 3 year lifespan.
Titan always kind of had that, but if you had a Matador, you could just pop him in the face and move on. But we don't have that anymore, and now he can do that with max armor. He's supposed to be the clunkiest class in a game. How dumb is like it would be
I can't think of a class in that game that has been broken or OP in more more instances
Dude,
than the Titan.
It's special whenever it got the new special,
the Sunbreaker.
the
Whenever Sunbreaker came,
good
dude,
God.
Oh yeah.
Holy
when I deleted
shit.
my Titan.
Yep.
I was like, no way.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Dude, yeah, I'm sitting here with 3 golden gun shots, and then
Just
there's,
cannot take them down.
There's Titan gets the same effect from the hammers, but they can throw like 20 of them.
Yeah.
Before the special runs out. Yeah, it's pretty shit.
Holy shit, we are losing every listener except for those still playing Destiny 3. So, all right, so there's that. Thoughts on Destiny 2? More specifically, so you were playing Destiny on PlayStation, you said?
Yeah.
So what do you...
mean, right now, that's all... Well, I guess there's Xbox, but...
Right, so what are you going to do with Destiny 2 when it goes to PC?
I'm going to play only PC.
Right on. Fair enough.
Like, I hate to be that PC Master Race guy, but it's a better gaming experience, hands down.
So we're divided in that fact. I'm gonna stick with the Xbox, especially with Scorpio coming out. The thing that always gets me is that I'm not a keyboard and mouse gamer, and I'm gonna be playing with a controller anyway. And living room experience always dominates over home office gaming experience for me.
I mean, yeah, I can. That is the only thing that might keep consoles relevant in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Steam Link kind of hasn't. They tried to take that on, but it really hasn't worked out.
But like, if I'm being very real, like, I can easily hook a controller up to my PC.
Right. So that's my. And
dispute. I have on this graphics card, I have an HDMI port. I can easily run an HDMI over to my TV. Like,
right.
Nothing is stopping me from doing that. However, it's kind of like mouse and keyboard is just an easier, more efficient way to game.
I get it. I totally get it. It just wasn't in my purview. Like, I grew up a console gamer from regular Nintendo all the way through.
When I was really, really young, because my mom's a gamer. She still plays Destiny.
Oh, fucking right on.
And I grew up PC gaming, but coming back to it was there's definitely a learning curve. But like looking around with one hand and controlling everything else with another, like
yeah.
There's a reason like scuff controllers are a thing for Destiny and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, like if you have to push a button, you have to take your thumb off of one of your motor skills in a video game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that does kind of suck. I never thought about it that way.
So like mouse and keyboard just reigns supreme. If you're good at mouse and keyboard, you're gonna be better than anyone with a controller. Yeah,
I'm kind of the same as you. Actually, I mean, I started off in the early '90s playing on Super Nintendo and then N64, but then towards middle school, high school, I played a lot of EverQuest, but I also played a lot of Rainbow Six Rogue Spear. That was like my first online FPS experience. And
it's funny, mine was Halo 2. As far as like a big competitive online experience, it was Halo 2. And I remember drilling a hole in my wall to the computer room to throw an Ethernet through.
Yeah, dude. There's no... See, it
was Gears of War for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely played Gears of War as well. I think Halo 2 came out.
Yeah, Halo 2, I want to say, came out in like 03,
yeah,
04.
So I didn't get the 360. I didn't have an Xbox. I had PS2, so I didn't get online until my 360. And Gears of War was the first online game I had.
I was definitely there in that realm.
Yeah, my biggest time sucks.
Halo 3, though. Holy shit.
My biggest time sucks back then on PC. I played a lot of Rogue Spear. That was like, dude, playing on 56K modem and, playing in 16 people, hostage situation type games. And it wasn't great. No. I mean, the lag and everything in it. But then Diablo 2 came out. That consumed my fucking life.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it did.
Dude, that game was amazing. I played that game for probably 10 years.
I played it for a while.
It was insane. We were still booting it back up in college, and we were playing on the LAN. It was so good. Diablo 3 was great. I mean, it scratched the itch for a little while.
I think aside from Destiny, Diablo 3 may be the next closest game to the amount of hours that I've sunk into the game.
I had this exact same conversation with a dude. So I caught up with an old friend the other day. I hadn't seen him in a while, and he was telling me about how he was still playing Diablo 2.
Holy shit.
I was like, dude, why don't you just play Diablo 3? And I still stick by the fact that they did. I mean, it's Blizzard, so let's be real. They crush it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as like a game company goes, they moved from one generation to the next flawlessly.
Mm-hmm.
Diablo 3 was so good to me.
It was so fucking fun.
Until you got to.
Did you play Diablo 3 on console?
No. We played it on
PC.
PC, like
PC.
launch date and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah,
I did
still play
too.
Diablo 3.
That is the one PC game.
Dude, you're gonna make me fire it back up, Sean. I haven't played it in years.
Since me and you would
have
fucking
you
go
played
on
since the
benders.
Crusader or whatever?
No, dude,
No.
we haven't played. We quit before the expansion came out because it was taking so
It was
long.
right after the what are the like purple levels that they
Oh
introduced?
yeah, the
Starts with an I.
See, that's funny because I main a Crusader, so you guys haven't even played.
No, dude, I mained a monk and
I went Warlock.
Yeah.
Wizard rather. Wizard and Warlock. That's kind of my go-to.
Well, you know the Necromancer from Diablo 2
Yeah.
is coming to 3.
Oh.
That's
No, I
a
did
game
not know
changer
that.
for me because that was my favorite class. It was the one I was the worst with. Like I destroyed shit with an Amazon like nobody's business. But then
That's why you went Witch Doctor originally.
yeah,
right?
and my favorite character for sure in Diablo 2 was definitely the Necromancer. Just the golems, and then just I have a huge same thing with EverQuest. I played a Dark Elf Necromancer probably longer than any character that I did in that game. They're just so fun. You could solo with them. Just having pets in games to me is super fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Witch Doctor in 3, but
I got the itch
the
now.
Necromancer was just too cool.
Dude,
I got
yeah,
the itch
yeah,
so
I think we-
bad. What were the levels that they introduced? So, Sean, what were the levels that they introduced after level cap originally? And
The ones that give you the
it's
magic find and gold find.
Yeah, it's indicated by like a blue indicator
Oh,
or
the
purple.
Paragon. So
Paragon,
yeah.
that was it.
You were
Jesus.
way off.
Yeah, I was really way off. But that was right whenever.
there are levels and stuff, but
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
when
just-
we stopped. Was right whenever the
I
Paragon
think the
levels got
level
introduced.
cap was it 50 or 60 at that point?
I want to say it was 60.
Yeah, I think it started off at 60 then. And then
I think it's still 6. It's been a little while since I
60,
played.
but 100 with Paragon, right?
Oh well, the Paragon never stopped.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and then now
I
they
think
play
I'm,
seasons
I think
and
I'm
shit.
Paragon level 500.
Oh,
It's something
Christ.
ridiculous.
Good God, dude!
yeah, no shit.
And somehow you're managing to tour with a band and write music and continue to learn
Oh,
guitar
don't get
and
it
everything.
twisted. My video games typically come first.
Yeah, I've had the itch so bad. We were just talking on the main show earlier about E3 coming up next week and how since we got off of Destiny, there's not really been anything scratching at me, and I'm dying to pick up a controller or something really bad.
So I don't get into the hype of that stuff a lot, because if I've learned anything about video game companies, it's that video games are worse than bands about overhyping something and then it just being a huge
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
it's maybe this is just the generation I grew up in and what the kind of games I was given when I was younger, but video games just don't add up to what they used to anymore.
No, dude, they launch horribly. I think we had a stretch. Every single multiplayer launch that we did for I think a year between Halo and then Gears of War Judgment and then a couple other games, they were just terrible. They fell flat on their face. Everything was broken. The Halo Master Chief Collection was fucking broken for months.
Infuriating.
Okay, so I've been on PlayStation since then, so I haven't
Lucky
even
you.
experienced. Yeah. But I don't know. It took me. I'm playing Overwatch now, but it took me a long time to get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was just making sure that hype was valid.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. I really haven't even cracked it.
Yeah, I'll typically be late. Overwatch is a lot of fun. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Right now, my game of choice is Paragon. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
No, I remember. I'm trying to think of who that big Destiny streamer is now that I can't think of the
Triple Wreck.
Triple Wreck. I remember him hyping up Paragon really big whenever it first came out or whenever it was in beta. I haven't seen it since.
So I'll give him a quick shout out. Me and him played Destiny the other day together.
Triple Wreck.
Yeah. He's
Go
a fan of
ahead,
Erra.
Playboy. Holy shit!
So how lucky am I? You know what I mean?
Get it.
All the cool things that.
So you were on the stream?
You're just
my
so,
life is insane because I play in this band.
Fucking cool, Sean. You're just too cool for this fucking show.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
because he's I was lucky enough to kind of bug his ear because he got invited to the Destiny 2 thing.
Oh wow,
And
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Of course
he sat
he
down
did.
and played
Of
it on
fucking
PC.
course he
So I
did.
was literally just talking to him directly about what that game was all about.
Yeah.
And he's the one that got me hyped up. I didn't listen to the hype, like I said, because video games are so bad about that. But he was like, he shares all the opinions on Destiny right now and the sad state that it's in, and he was excited. He's so stoked, and he says that Destiny 2 is just going to be so fun. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy it.
Is he going to jump ship and go PC as well?
I mean, that dude gets paid to play.
Oh
video
yeah.
games.
Oh yeah.
So he'll probably do it on both. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just not to lose a fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely more excited about PC.
That's crazy, man.
Because I mean, he's like his level of streaming. He has to have a really good computer to do that. He has the computer to run it.
Yeah.
Like insane, like
Yeah.
60. Well, okay, they're not giving consoles 60 frames, and that's huge.
Oh, that is kind of crazy. That gives it's going to be cross-platform too, isn't it? In terms of multiplayer?
No, definitely.
They killed
No,
that. Or,
because
okay. I know it's set up
if-
for that.
If
Not
they
Destiny,
did
but
that, everyone on PC would just take a hot shit on anyone on
yeah,
console.
that's true too. There's only a couple games that do it right. I mean, Rocket League does it between. Actually, did they
Okay,
ever deploy
so-
that?
I'm not sure. I was never big into Rocket League.
Me
and people
neither.
were so about saying that.
No.
Paragon is cross-platform. I play on PC and my friends play on PlayStation.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, I know that they've opened up the tunnel between Xbox and PlayStation, and obviously with Xbox being Windows 10 compatible and all that stuff, it seems like everybody should be able to play nice. I think it's up to the developers, isn't it?
There's so many. Yeah, I mean, because it's up to the developers, but then you get into product licensing and stuff like, like Destiny's actually Activision and whatever Activision politically wants to mess with. You know what I mean? Like it gets very political and down a rabbit hole at that level.
Yeah,
So there's no telling where it's going to go. But I mean, one of the main reasons I've been playing Paragon so much is because I don't leave my console friends in the dust.
Yeah, that's the other big thing for us is, there's the living room experience, the controller experience. Like you said, you can plug a controller up to a computer or you can plug your computer up into the living room, whatever. But the community thing is the other big thing. Is like
we have a big group we play with on Xbox. So
yeah, I mean, Destiny 2 came out and I saw where a lot of my friends were just like, oh, I know a bunch of people who are going to leave us. Like, there were some people who were salty, like in my clan, that were like, "Oh, you're gonna go to PC and abandon us." I was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah. I think ours is gonna suffer losses too.
Driven, and I want the best experience I can get.
I get that.
Like, that's always gonna come first.
Yeah, I get that completely. I think ours is gonna lose a couple members too, but we'll still talk and all that. That was the cool thing. Like I said, I joke saying that most people are sick of, because Tim and I have talked Destiny on our main show so much over the past 2 or 3 years, but that was one of the coolest things, was that we met some people that we quote unquote met people online playing and raiding with these guys down in Gainesville, Florida for years, and then drove down there and met them in person as a result of that. Like, it's just such a fucking cool experience that gaming has produced,
Oh, dude, the gaming community is bigger than it ever has been and will only continue to grow.
Absolutely.
Because, for one, let's face it, the money in gaming is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
And then, it's so, like, you'll never find anyone calling anyone else a nerd over video games anymore.
Not anymore. No.
It's too cool.
Yeah, it definitely.
I mean?
It's just like fucking Marvel. I mean,
yeah.
It's gonna be an Olympic sport at some point, from what I'm
with
understanding.
ESL or whatever. Yeah.
Or
I mean, esports is
yeah.
huge. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I love something about having this. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still some games that I'll, lay down on my bed and play a console game. It's kind of rare now because, well, for one, I stream and I have to have my PC linked to my PlayStation, and that's a whole rig, and so I'm typically at a computer even when I'm playing a console anyway.
Yeah.
So, I'll just probably always be at a computer from this point.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it just depends on the title. So,
I mean, I was really stoked to find out that Paragon was cross-platform. It's a third-person MOBA.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like the mouse and keyboard thing isn't too unfair.
Yeah.
Over the people with a controller.
Yeah.
However,
true.
my friend who plays PlayStation Paragon just linked up a mouse and keyboard to his PlayStation, and it works seamlessly.
That's crazy. That's cool though.
Yeah, well, I mean, so they just ported the game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it
that's
has
cool.
all the control programming and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it, and so as a MOBA, it's visually incredible to look at because it just looks amazing. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Yeah.
And then it's a MOBA that company. It's the company that makes the Unreal Engine at Epic Games.
Oh,
So,
cool.
It looks great, but they release a new hero every 3 weeks on the dot.
That's crazy. How long has it been out now? Since I know the beta was going on last year, right?
Yeah, a little over a year.
Okay.
And there's like a competitive thing right now where there's a bunch of teams in like a prelim for a big worldwide tournament. They're trying to make it this big competitive level, and they stay on their promises. You know what I mean? Like for a video game company to actually deliver, I'm happy.
So to that point,
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of Epic and all that, I mean, have you seen Cliff Bleszinski's new game, Lawbreakers, that's coming out on PC and PS4?
So my friend showed me clips of that game the other day. It looks cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm psyched. I'm psyched.
So I'll say the idea of it looks cool. I'm gonna wait.
Also at the price
wait
point, man,
for
they're pushing it out at $20, and microtransactions
amazing.
are only going to be
Yeah.
cosmetic. And like him as a game designer, like I hate that it's not going to come to Xbox, and maybe that's a game that I investigate on PC, but I think it's worth looking into. Like that's been a game that's definitely on my radar that I'm psyched to see a little bit more out of.
I think the way technology is going and how cost effective and easy it is to get a PC now is like I think everyone's gonna eventually make that move. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Or at least,
you
the
said
console
you're
will
excited
merge.
for the Scorpio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, all a Scorpio is a budgeted
I
gaming
know.
PC
I know.
with a Xbox operating system.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
Exactly.
literally
No,
all it is.
I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that.
yeah. It's so I take it you've liked the PC that you built last year.
Oh, dude, I'm on it every day. The
Have you-
only thing I like about this thing is that I can't take it on tour.
Yeah, I built. Yeah, I need to
took my
upgrade mine.
PlayStation on tour all the time.
Nice.
Anybody else in the band play with you?
So JT plays video games, but he's a freaking World of Warcraft nerd.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's such a that game sucks to me.
Yeah.
Like I just think it's such a pointless grind. You know
It's
what I mean?
definitely a time suck, dude. I played it a lot.
Says three guys talking about Destiny 3 years.
Yeah, but like I hit 400 light. I'm
Yeah,
done.
no,
You
I
know
feel
what I mean?
you.
Like
I feel you. Yeah, for
World
sure.
of Warcraft is like this whole level of like, and I commend it and I respect it for what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that is the massive multiplayer online game.
absolutely.
I have to correct you. The greatest MMO ever made, and it's still going, is EverQuest. It's so much more involved, so much harder, and so much more stuff to it than World of Warcraft.
I cannot with you with
Dude,
this EverQuest bullshit.
Dude, there is a community dedicated to keeping the 1999 version of EverQuest alive.
Sure, there is.
Yeah.
I have no doubt, but
Dude,
I will not be a part of that.
So crazy.
Yeah, the graphics are terrible, but
Yeah,
it's
I
so
cannot-
fun.
I cannot. I cannot support this behavior, Tim.
No, it's great though. So, any news going back out on tour? Speaking of tour, do you guys have a tour left in you on this cycle or no?
No, the headliner was the conclusion of the Drift cycle.
All right. Are you guys going to be playing any
I feel
festivals
like
or
he
anything
said
coming up?
that somewhere. So we have one thing. We only have one thing confirmed for the rest of the year, but that's because we are going into the studio this year.
That's fucking
Nice.
awesome.
But obviously, release dates are always insane.
yeah, obviously.
So I have no idea when to tell you guys about that.
So going on,
And
go ahead.
we only have one tour confirmed, and it's like it's probably like it's one of my dream tours, but I can't say anything about it because it's at that level.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear more.
Atlanta, I'm hoping.
Gotta be.
So,
You could say Atlanta. It's a big city. That's not a spoiler.
well, it's not even in America.
Oh,
Sick.
So
that's fucking dope, dude.
But
Congrats.
that's why like it gets into like a whole other level of politics, and I can't.
Yeah, for sure.
No more.
I completely understand.
Say no more, fam. We got
But
you.
from my perspective,
Yeah.
I'm fucking insanely excited.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
Because we've only been overseas once, and that was a week run in Japan, and it treated us amazingly. Like,
that's awesome.
Our Japanese shows immediately were up to par to some of the best American shows we've
That's
ever
awesome.
had. Ever could. Yeah, it was insane.
That's so good to hear.
Who did you guys play with in Japan? I'm guessing North Lane or those guys.
Oh, it was Within the Ruins.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, which Within the Ruins has been some of our like old, early time homies.
A1 since the day one, yeah.
Yeah, so like just going to a different country with some of your good friends.
Yeah, that makes it all a lot easier too.
So speaking of food, I mean, you had to eat a lot of ramen whenever you're over there, right? Tell me you
ramen
did.
and sushi. It's all I fucking swallow.
Fuck yes. That's what I like to hear.
And it sucks because it made me such a spoiled diva because I came back and I was like, this isn't ramen. This?
We got some pretty good spots here in Atlanta, man. I'm telling you, hit us up. We know.
Yeah, well, so I've like obviously I was like, yo, please hook me up, take me to these sick ramen spots because I can.
Yeah.
But we just got a spot in Birmingham that is straight up to par with Japan.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, we have probably 4 or 5 really standout places here.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's great.
But it's so funny because, I mean, obviously, you go to Japan. I had the best sushi of my life.
Of course.
I had way more than I could even fathom of eating, and I left paying $10.
That's fucking crazy. That's the thing that gets me with ramen is I feel like I can't walk out without spending $20.
Yeah, ramen. I spent $6 American, and it was probably I'll never have something
and not
level
quality and quantity. That's the other thing too.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the noodles be made in front of me.
That's fucking crazy.
So are you a Sukemen guy?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, whenever the noodles are outside, whenever you dip cold noodles into the hot broth.
Oh, I never did that.
Oh, okay.
I never have done that.
I know that's like there's a division in
you are
Japan.
Such a nerd,
dude. I shit you not. So I watched. You can't call people nerds like in a negative way about video games.
I just heard you call him cool. I don't know what you're talking about.
So anyway, there's a PBS show called Mind of a Chef.
So good. Check it out on Netflix.
Yeah, dude.
for real.
Yeah,
that first season is dope.
Yeah, the first season follows David Chang, who's this New York chef. He's a Korean American guy. I believe anyway. Yeah, I think his dad is from Korea.
I'm a little familiar with David Chang because I'm like
Top
crazy.
Chef.
Well, I'm obsessed with a YouTube show, Hot Ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one where they eat the hot wings, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty. That one with Bert Kreischer. Good God.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's been on that, or I know he's mentioned a lot on it at least.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer and what's the Asian guy, Bobby?
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee. Good God.
Yeah. So I watched. So David Chang, it follows a different chef every season. So it like takes David Chang and him going to see his influences. Like so he cooked ramen or in Japan, and so there's pretty much the entire season. He's been part and parcel with the ramen revolution in America. So I watched that, dude. So my mom's a chef, and I cook a good amount, and I really like for a month straight. I stole my sister's pasta maker, and I was making ramen at home like every other night. It wasn't good for my waistline, probably, or for my heart, but
I think that's the next food thing to blow up, like in the freezer section, like companies that are developing really good ramen broths in the freezer section. I could see that taking off big time. That's just
the thing is that it's so you just can't compare.
I think you can from the broth perspective. That's the difference.
You can freeze that. For
like
sure.
Noodles, I agree. You can't compare like fresh made noodles, but the broth, like a company that can make really really good ramen broth and put it in a freezer section, and even if they do it with freeze dried noodles on the side, and you can just make your own because the broth is the hardest fucking thing to perfect.
Well, yeah, but okay, so it's not broth; it's stock. Which is
yes, absolutely.
And like some of the best ramen places I've go around, like they'll just have like essentially it's water that's just been decomposing a chicken in
Yeah.
insane heat for a long time.
Yeah, I make it all the time. You just put you got to put as much stuff that has collagen and marrow in it as possible. So chicken feet, chicken necks, like anything and everything that you can get, dude.
Good.
It's fucking great. Like it brings out
hate
that
we're talking about this at 10.
Dude, you are 2 hours away. I'm sure there's a ramen place we
We'll
can
meet
go hit up.
halfway.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a bit, dude.
Meet you on the border.
Crush it.
Yeah. So yeah, going on tour, you're straight edge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
on 6 years now.
what's that?
Going on 6 years.
That's awesome. So Kevin's not anymore. I mean, I am. So that's a lifestyle. We actually talked about it a few episodes ago. It's kind of a lifestyle I've always prescribed to. A lot of it had to do with influence from my brother, but we were talking about it being just. I feel like it gets shit on a lot these days, and it's interesting to see people, especially at an older age, that either, I don't know, quote unquote broke edge, or that just see it as like this silly thing. But we were talking about it being such a good influence for the kids growing up, especially in the scene, how influential, or how I don't know, just how susceptible they are to peer pressure and that sort of thing. So you said 6 years. What got you on board with that?
This is like a.
I mean, you don't have to talk about it.
So no, yeah, I understand. But no, I mean, I tell this story all the time. It's just not on this kind of platform. But it's kind of funny how me being straight edge started. Because I used to drink. That's all I ever did. I never did drugs or anything. I just never had an interest for it. I used to drink, and I remember the last time I think I ever drank was I had just gotten a job at Journeys, the shoe store. And I ended up going on to run my own store, and that was like my career for a short period of time. But I had just gotten promoted to a management level, and I mean, obviously, to say this, if I ever drank, it was illegal, because when I quit drinking, I was like 18 to 19.
Right on.
But I had drank for like some years. Like I think I started tampering with alcohol when I was like 15 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bad about it. Like I definitely was very bad about it. And I remember like one of the last time I had ever drank, I chugged 2 Four Locos.
Oh God!
Back before they like even took out the caffeine level in it, and like it was just
that was blackout juice.
In a can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so yeah, I chugged 2 of those, and apparently I was like seizing or like violently having tremors in my bed, and because I've always lived with some of my friends in the house I grew up in with my dad. We've just rented out rooms to my friends and stuff. And a couple of my friends were there, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's seizing in his bed."
Good God.
And I had work the next day. It was like one of my first management shifts at Journeys, and I like really didn't want to mess that job up because it paid great. And I remember calling in sick to work because I was just thrashed. My body was just done after that night of the 2 Four Locos or whatever. And then I forgot that I had like posted. I don't think Snapchat was even a thing really back then. I think I had posted on like a Facebook status or something that I was drinking that night. And my boss was like, "Yo, you can't, like, I know you drank and that's why you didn't come in. You can't do that." I was like, "All right, I just promise I won't ever drink before a work shift." And I was working 50 hours a week back then, and I just never picked a drink back up.
Well, damn.
So like, and I remember like I had broken up with this chick I was dating at the time, and that's like obviously straight edge does have a negative stigmatism because of the idiots who like influence it in a poor way. And,
right.
And it's funny because those are the guys that don't stay straight edge. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Oh, but it's like I remember her being like, "Don't be straight edge. That's fucking lame." And I remember breaking up with her. I was like, I will be straight edge. I'll show you. It's just like it's funny how comical like me starting it out was, but then after like a year and then 2 years, it's like, okay, obviously I'm healthier than any of my friends who do this.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
definitely.
Obviously, I save money. Obviously, I'm like it's just you. Like if we got down to an argument with someone over why I shouldn't be sober, I'm gonna win every time.
Right.
Because it's just obviously, and I'm not gonna like say I'm better than anyone ever, because I love all of my best friends and they all drink, but like
You'll just think
personally, if I have the willpower to make this change and make this choice, my life's just better because of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It comes under personal level at that point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how long. I think you said. Yeah, I guess you said you're sober.
Yeah, I've never taken a drop of alcohol on purpose. So.
Okay, so like at this point, I guess it's a little weird to have been there and then not done it and look back at it. But if I, like, even after 6 years of even looking at a drink, it just feels so foreign and pointless to me. You know what I mean? Like, I've definitely hit my level where it's just I'm never gonna do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And we talked about that a while ago. Just, I mean, I think I'm to the point. I'm almost 30, so and I've never touched alcohol or drugs or anything. And I've gotten this far in my life, and I'm happy. I don't really.
Yeah.
I've seen far too many people that I love fall to a very toxic, venomous state of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, dude, it sucks. I can imagine, especially with you being in the music industry, just how susceptible you guys are on the road to that stuff. Or that makes it sound like you think that maybe is a cop out?
I mean, the rock star, like the whole rock star lifestyle, I feel like is kind of dead and gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have Warped Tour type rock star lifestyle,
okay,
right?
I've never even been to a Warped Tour.
Neither have I. I mean, I just hear stories about it.
I do hear some kind of funny, crazy stories. I mean, especially at this level, like I said, there's so many people in bands nowadays, and successful is such a loose term that if someone in my genre and my level of being in a band, if they're acting like a rock star, they're just they're in over their fucking head.
Yeah,
like
you could tell who they are too, pretty easily.
Yeah, like dude, you're just playing music for a living. Don't let it fucking drive you to this insane. Like if you're acting like a fucking animal, it's because you're just acting like a fucking animal.
Well, I think that's the difference between people, like you were saying, where it comes back to the creation of people doing and making music for them, and because it is expressing something to them internally versus those that are doing it just to live that lifestyle. There's a big difference in that.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously there's a copious amount of alcohol and weed on the road. I've seen some other drugs, but, like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Erra has always been a very tame band as a whole.
Yeah.
We're just, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I hope it shows we're in it for the music, you know what I mean? That lifestyle.
No, for sure, yeah.
Well, I think that's what... I think ultimately, even bands that aren't straight edge necessarily or don't have straight edge members, I think that talent and dedication will always win out over just doing. Like, I mean, just like that dedication and motivation, you just cannot. You can't. Well, I mean, you can't teach that. Like, you have it or you don't. And
I don't want to say, because I'm the only straight edge person in my band.
Right.
So obviously, me being straight edge has nothing to do with the creation.
No.
Yeah. So like, me being straight edge is just and I don't even really say straight edge anymore. I just say sober because it's there's such a weird negative.
It really does. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat.
So I've been sober for 6 years, and that's clearly my personal choice. And I was sober before I was even in a band. So it's just funny to, like, I don't know. I guess it's easier for me, and obviously all my friends dig it because if they have a few beers, I can obviously drive them home that night. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
dude. Trust me, I know. I've been designated driver since since I've had a license.
Tim, you and I have been friends for 15 years, and you've never had a DD for me.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
There you go.
That's interesting.
That's the difference in somebody that handles their shit, Playboy.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, Sean, though, because you probably can attest to this. For me, not having any sort of alcoholic or any sort of relationship with alcohol and just living this lifestyle, for me, I found it far harder to explain it to people whenever they ask than you probably do whenever you tell them the story that you just told us. People could see that as like, oh, okay, you got out of control, or that happened. For me, like, I found in my adult life, it's far easier to tell people that I'm a recovering alcoholic than it would be to just tell them I didn't really have any interest.
I totally, I mean, it's kind of funny though, because like so many people are just slowly becoming alcoholics as they get older. And I really don't want this to sound like I'm just the guy who's sober, just passing judgment, but like, it's just funny how like, because people get older, they can't party like they used to.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, like I could easily say that would have happened to me. So maybe I am like a recovering alcoholic in like a very vague philosophy, like sense of the word, you know what I mean? So it's just weird, but like, I don't know, I can't allow myself to have that cop out, but yeah, you're right. I get asked so much, and I've gotten so good at telling that story just because like, I've said it so many times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's
And I'll even find myself, it's like saying different stories from different times of my life for why I did it, but it's just like it all remains the same. It just doesn't interest me. You know what I mean? Like my life is easier without it, so I'm just gonna press on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. I feel like, yeah.
I hate to end it on such a heavy note, but I feel like we've had you on for so long already, and we've taken up so much.
Oh,
of your
dude,
time.
I'm fine. It's funny. It's like I'm such a big gamer. It's like after I get, because I'm using my Turtle Beach headset right now.
Oh, dude, we recorded on those things for years. I mean,
I love them.
We've been doing this show for over 4 years now, and yeah, I think of that. The first 3.5 we wore Turtle Beach, or at least I did.
Yeah, no, I couldn't afford it. I had this. I still have them. These Microsoft Live Chat, like 3,000. Yeah, they're like $20 headphones.
Yeah.
They're fucking great though.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny. It's like after this podcast is over, I'm literally just gonna hop into a party with my friends and play video games with the same headset.
Right on,
so
dude.
Right on.
I'm not doing anything different than I normally would any other night.
That's awesome. Well, we cannot be happier that you came on with us. Cannot wait to hear the new stuff. Cannot wait to see you next time you're on tour and in Atlanta. That's for damn sure.
Well, thank you so much, man. Yeah, it was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. I watch a lot of podcasts, so I had a pleasure doing this.
Yeah, man. We'd love to have you back on, whenever you guys get closer to, touring process or, writing and all that once you guys have some announcements.
Yeah, dude, anytime. I mean, it doesn't always have to be about that. If there's anything you guys ever just want me to have,
fuck yeah.
Oh, dude, we got a new fucking raid buddy one way or another. That's for damn sure. Even if I got to buy it on PC.
I don't know. I don't want him to hate me. Yeah, I suck at raids, so I don't.
Look, dude, look, let's just hit me up if you need a trials partner. Just ignore Tim completely. We'll get there. We're going to the lighthouse.
No, I'm definitely
We're going to the lighthouse. You buying all the boons or no?
Yeah.
So shout outs, Sean. Where are you at on Twitter or Instagram? Are you on Twitter? You're not on Twitter, are you?
Yeah, but I'm like, my fucking Twitter following is just so much smaller than it would be. Like my Instagram's pretty decent, my Facebook's good, so my Twitter's suffering.
Oh, it's all good. So where can they find you at on Instagram then?
Pretty much everything should be literally Sean P. That whole handle.
Cool. And Erra is it Erra official or what is the?
I think it's Erra Band.
Erra Band. That's what it is. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. It was a hell of a blast having you here, and like I said, can't wait to hear you, see you, and hear you in the new stuff. So,
dude, thanks so much. I hope to hear from you guys soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds good, man. Take it easy.
See you, bud.
Later.